Welcome back to Sports Dump, Lewis County's only sports podcast, sponsored by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery, Goebel Septic, and Americool Heating and Cooling. I'm Aaron Vantile, joined by the Chronicle sports crew, Dylan Wilhelm and Zach Martin. Cody Christian is unavailable. Do we know what his deal is today?
He said he's got a news thing to do. That's all.
Likely story.
So tune into News Dump to hear what it could be about.
Good plug.
Yeah, he'll be on News Dump tomorrow or Wednesday, whenever we record that. But now,
you play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
we have a full podcast on tap for you today. I'm not sure why Dylan wanted that in there so badly.
I didn't. I did.
Oh, Zach put that in there?
I put that in there. I did the notes today.
Explain yourself.
I just wanted that in there. That's all. I just wanted it in there. I couldn't think of anything
Creative
better.
licensing.
Great explanation. We've got a full podcast on tap for you today. Did you write this like a radio guy? Have you listened to the podcast before? District baseball and boys soccer is over. State brackets are out for those things. We're also going to preview 2A and 2B District 4 softball brackets and go over all the happenings from track and tennis. We'll start off on the diamond. The baseball diamond?
Yes, baseball.
Yes.
My bad.
Gotta be more specific.
Yeah, I know. Look, I'm rusty on the notes. It's my first time doing it fully.
You know what? They look great. You did a great job, I'm sure.
Thanks, Aaron.
We kick things off on the baseball diamond, where we say goodbye to these teams: Toledo, PL Willapa Valley, Rainier, and Rochester. Meanwhile, Napavine and Adna made it out of the 2B District 4 bracket. Adna lost to Tudor Lake in the district title game, and Napavine, after losing to the Pirates in the semifinals, beat Toledo in a winner-to-state game and nudged Ilwaco for third. You guys were at these games. Cody was also there, but he's not here. What did you see? Who looks the hottest coming out of District 4?
Outside of Tudor Lake, I almost want to lean Napavine, to be honest, even though Adna clipped him in the semis. Adna kind of skated by. They were up 3-0 in Kalama. Kalama came back to tie that game before Adna pulled away. Adna was up 8-2 on Napavine. Napavine came all the way back to tie it before Adna pulled away. And then obviously Tudor clipped them in the finals. But Napavine bounced back with a pretty decent showing against Ilwaco. And I don't know. Obviously, you kind of just said, yeah. I'm sure you sort of agreed.
No, I do agree with that because I think Adna is not playing their best baseball right now.
Ooh. Is that a take? Do we have a take alert?
It is a take, and I don't think it's that hot of a take. I mean, you skate by against a team that you swept handily in Kalama in the quarterfinals. You have to have a walk. You have to have another walk-off victory to beat Napavine in a game you're up 8-2, and then in a district title game, which granted, in the grand scheme of things, doesn't mean too much because you're both going to state. You no show against Tudor Lake.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
They were up 3-0 in that game, too.
yeah.
And
So
they committed, I think, 6 errors.
So I don't think it's that hot of a take to say that Adna's not playing their best baseball. And look, do I still think they probably get to the semifinals? Yeah, just because I believe in the talent. But I definitely think that if they don't clean up the errors and the pitching, which somehow has fallen off since the regular season, it's going to be an issue.
Okay. All right. Do you want to go through the bracket now, or should we get to that later? Oh, we got it right here. It is in the notes. The 2B bracket was released on Sunday. That's yesterday. Napavine is the number 5 seed. They'll play number 12 Coopville at home on Tuesday. Are they actually? Yeah. So the 2Bs are, it's a 12-team bracket, right?
Yes.
And so the first games, which are tomorrow, are at the better seed.
Correct.
I always get confused between low and high
but
seed.
then Adna's going to host the quarterfinal as well, even though the other ones are all at neutral sites.
Adna just has the nicest situation, I guess. They want that view.
Yes.
Anyway, Napavine's got Coopville at home Tuesday. Adna's the 3 seed. They'll play the winner of number 6 Northwest Christian Colbert and number 11 Okanagan on Saturday in Adna. Tudor Lake got the 1 seed, and the Ducks and Pirates are on opposite sides of the bracket. Do you guys think we're going to see round 4 in Ephrata?
I'll lean no, because I need to see Adna get by Tri-Cities Prep, who is a potential semifinal opponent.
Okay.
you get to the postseason, I feel like you almost have to trust Adna based on like at this point in the postseason, trust them. But I think I'm going to lean no as well. But it's like a 51% no, 49% yes.
Do we know anything about Okanagan or Northwest Christian Colbert?
No.
Colbert.
I don't.
Spokane. Okay.
No. But if Adna were to make that run to the state title game, it would take obviously beating one of those two teams. And then assuming no other upsets, they would have to beat Tri-Cities Prep, who they lost to in the championship game last year, and then Tootle, who they obviously have a history with as recently as this last weekend.
All right. I'm pulling up Okanagan baseball. They are correct 8-10 this year.
They're the 11. That would track. Yeah. Reminds me of Adna. I don't know if Adna was that bad last year, but Adna was the 11 last year when they made it all the way to state, I believe.
I'm looking through
finals.
I'm looking through their roster. They got Carter Kuchenbuck. Wasn't he the star quarterback from their football team? Maybe.
Possibly.
Could have been.
We can get Napavine Okanagan again if we really want to get wild.
That could be interesting.
For the third straight season.
So Napavine will play Coupeville. If they win that, they will play Riverview at Pasco. Riverview, it's just like the Alan Smithy of schools. Nobody's actually ever seen it or heard of it.
So Zach feels about Stillicum.
Yes, I don't believe that's a real school.
It's kind of stuck. I don't think I've ever been to Stillicum either.
I first heard it. I'm like, yeah, no, this school doesn't exist.
I wonder what Coupeville's baseball.
I want to dispute it just based off the fact that it's absurd, but I can't because I've also never been to Stillicum.
It's Coupeville is 11-8 this season. These don't sound that impressive. These all just kind of sound like,
just
11-12 for a reason.
Yeah.
You get hot in the district tournament, and all of a sudden you find yourself coming to Napavine for a state opening round matchup.
I guess Napavine's the 5, and they'll have to play Riverview the 4. I kind of like Napavine's odds there.
I do too. Frankly, I also like their odds. I think it'll be very interesting to see who they'll throw against Coupeville, if they're going to throw Ashton or throw Cal Bullock. Because if they throw Ashton, then he can throw the most pitches he can throw is 74. He would be available for 3 days. He would have 3 days of rest and or 2 days of rest, excuse me. And then he can throw on Saturday. So it will be interesting to see how the Tigers will use their pitching, if they're going to use Ashton or Cal.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever they don't have, they'll probably throw against Riverview on Saturday if they win.
I don't want to jump the gun, but if they make it to that Riverview game on Saturday, Riverview is 15-2 this season. Their 2 losses are to Chewelah 5-4 back in March, which you're losing to Chewelah. Come on,
sure,
you have to
all right.
do something harder to impress me. And they also lost to Tri-Cities Prep 11-0. So I don't know. Maybe they're a cupcake. Who knows?
And then if Napavine does make it through,
then you potentially get Tootle Lake in the semis.
Yeah,
Ashton Demers versus
Zach Swanson.
Either Zach Swanson or Connor Cox, depending on how Tootle wants to play.
That'd
That'd be pretty fun.
That would be fun.
All right, moving on to the madness of the District 4 2A tournament, where Tumwater and WFS both made it to the final 16, the state playoffs. The Bearcats beat Ridgefield in the semifinals to lock up a state berth. Then they lost to Columbia River in the district title game. Tumwater, meanwhile, had a rally against Columbia River that fell short in the semifinals, but beat R.A. Long in a winner to state game. Now, that wasn't a third, fourth game. That was just a winner to state game.
That was
right?
just winner to state, yeah.
Okay. Dylan was there for the semifinals, and Zach was there for the finals. Dylan, what did you see in the semifinals?
Kind of on the Tumwater side of things, pretty much the same thing that Zach saw, where, I mean, they just have that kind of, no pun intended, because Lyle Overbear is injured, but they kind of had that big league approach of games. We're never out of a game, no matter what. And, you could kind of feel that energy and intensity even when they're down. They were down 2 going into the 7th of the semifinal. They played 3, and then things kind of went haywire in the bottom innings there in the extras. But that carries over. And that's something they talked about after the game, was that they wanted to get back on the field pretty much instantly. And obviously they had to sit and fester on that for a couple days. But that kind of mindset, that translates whether it's the district semi or a winner to state or moving on to state. And that'll do them well in close games.
All right. Zach, your thoughts on the 2A tournament?
Yeah, it was, first of all, beautiful complex down in Ridgefield. First time seeing it in person, absolutely beautiful complex. Yeah, Tumwater had to pull a rabbit out of its hat in the 7th inning. Eddie Marson, walk-off RBI single, gave the money quote of they were scared of me because they intentionally walked him in the 5th. So I had to use that in my story. Go read it. WF West, they picked a time to play their worst game. They had the thing is they only had one error that showed up on the box score, but there were so many mental errors that cost them. And Columbia River made them pay for it, and they could have taken a 4-2 lead in the 3rd, I believe, on a similar situation that happened in the 1st with Ross Kelly 2-run single that scored the first 2 runs. Kelly just he didn't beat out the throw to first, so that happens. Maybe it's a different game, but yeah, WF West they're gonna have to have a quick turnaround if they want to before Saturday's opening round.
All right, and on to the opening round. WF West is number 7. They'll play number 10 Port Angeles on Saturday. This is down in Vancouver.
Yes.
And then Columbia River and White River, the Battle of the Rivers, is the other one. Columbia River's a 2 seed. WF West and Columbia River, are we going to see another one of those?
Probably.
I would expect.
Yeah.
I'd be shocked if it wasn't.
Yeah, I too would be shocked. It'll be interesting who WF West throws against Port Angeles versus who would they throw against Columbia River 45 minutes later.
Mm-hmm.
My guess is if they beat Port Angeles, that Ty Osritich will throw against Columbia River. He was
Cole Osritich.
Cole Osritich, excuse me. He did not throw in the district title game. They threw Miles Martin, Nate Dolan, Grady Westland, and then Braden Jones came in at the end. So I wonder if they're going to throw Osritich if they get Columbia River again, because he was lights out in the semis against Ridgefield.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect game because he let up a couple base hits and walked a guy, but I mean, Jesse Elam after the game, that was an absolute masterclass. And I was like, yeah, all right, that pretty much sums it up. So yeah, it'd be nice to see him go. And then he kind of mentioned the 45 minutes later thing. Unlike the 1B and 2Bs, the opening round and quarterfinals of 2A and 1A are on the same day, kind of college regional style, where the top 4 teams host these kind of regional pods.
Mm-hmm. And this is the way the 2B tournament used to be too.
Back when it was 16.
Yeah. As few as like 2 or 3 years ago, I think. Anyway, all right, moving on. Tumwater is the 8 seed. They'll play number 9 Pullman at Auburn High School on Saturday at 1 o'clock. The winner will face either number 1 Enumclaw or number 16 Kingston. Can Tumwater get through? Do we know anything about Enumclaw?
I didn't know they were like that. I didn't realize they were the top seed.
We were not familiar with their game.
I was not familiar with Enumclaw's game.
I don't know. Who knows if like it's the real number 1 based off this, generic RPI thing.
Well, they have a seating
There's allegedly
committee.
a group. Yeah.
There's allegedly a group.
They got a kid named G. Chavez. G is just his first initial, who's hitting .493. That's pretty good.
That'll work.
Kid named something Wall, who's hit 3 home runs.
Well, they are 21-1 and 16-0 in the South Puget Sound League. So
that's not bad.
No, that's pretty good. I'm checking to see. They actually did play Tumwater. Oh, well, this is interesting. I need to do my research more. Tumwater beat them in the season opener. That's their only loss.
Really?
Tumwater beat them 5-2 in Tumwater on March 13th.
All right.
And they have won 21 in a row since.
That's pretty good.
So we get a potential rematch then, if that's the case, if Tumwater can beat Pullman.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Enumclaw, maybe they're good. It remains to be seen.
That was the wake-up call they needed 1 game into the season.
Apparently.
All right, into the 1A tournament. Tenino was the runner-up in District 4. They topped Les Center in the semifinals to get a state bid, but then they lost to Seton Catholic in the championship game. Zach was there for the semifinals, and Dylan made an appearance for the finals. Thoughts on Tenino?
Kellen Knox pitched very well in the semis against the center, 6 2/3, and then Cody Strong got the last out. All just 3 runs for Tenino against the center. All came in the first inning. So by the time I got there, they did in the 5th. They did not score at all. But second straight year they make it to state, and they lost to La Center in last year's district semi. So a little bit of revenge for this group that most was back from last year. So they're playing well. Not well enough to win a district title, but Seton Catholic's that's a pretty damn good team.
That was rough. I got there around about 45 minutes after first pitch. It was already in like the top of the 4th. Not only did they get destroyed in 5 innings and run ruled, the game took like 70 minutes. It was like that. And, Schlesser, even after the fact, I'm sure he would agree with everything I said. Everything I'm going to say, excuse me. He said it straight up that we're not going to win any game at state if we play like that. They had a long talk after the game, and it was kind of just, they've had a couple, not many, but they've had a couple bumps over the course of the year where he's like, all right, this is going to serve as the wake-up call. This is going to serve as the wake-up call. That better be, you're running out of time. And he said that straight up to me after the game, that this better be the wake-up call. Otherwise, the season's over. We were talking about this before. I weirdly think that they have the best chance to make it to Yakima out of them. Tumwater and WFS are 1 and 2A teams just because of their draw.
Let's talk about their draw. They are the number 5 seed, and they will take on number 12 Lakeside 9 Mile Falls on Saturday at Yakima's Parker Field. The winner will play either Natchez Valley, the number 4 seed, or Linden Christian, the number 13 seed, in the quarterfinals. How do you feel about the Beavers' chances there?
I think both Dylan and I are pretty confident that they can get to Bellingham. I think there is a real shot that they can not handily win both games, because Lakeside 9 Mile as a first-round opponent is pretty, that's not easy. They won the Northeast 1A League, 15-8 overall, 9-3 in the league, beat just a game up on Freeman and Deer Park. So that's not an easy first-round game. But if Kellen Knox is on and Jack Burkhardt, who would presumably pitch the second game if they were to win, if they're both on, they can manufacture enough runs that they can beat anybody. So it'll be very interesting to see how Knox and Burkhardt, Cody Strong out of the bullpen, Preston Snyder out of the bullpen as well, how those guys pitch will be very telling.
All right. And then in the quarterfinals, theoretically, they would face Natchez Valley is the 4 seed, assuming they beat Linden Christian. Natchez Valley is 19-5. They have an 8-0 in the SCAC West. I'm not sure what that stands for.
South Central Athletic Conference.
Are you just guessing, or is that actually
No, that's
it?
actually it. I'm on the website.
Or is that just the most obvious?
Well, it also is the most obvious, but that's what it's called.
All right. Yeah, they look pretty good. They lost to Royal a couple times, and they lost to East Valley, which I believe is a larger classification team. Okay. And then finally, Mossy Rock beat Rainier Christian in a crossover glue game, which secured glue game. What the hell is that? Secured a state berth.
It's a crossover. I don't know why they call it that.
I don't know why they call
No
it
one knows
glue
what's
game.
happening in 1B.
Yeah. It will mean they get to go 2.5 hours to Arlington to face Mount Vernon Christian in an 8-9 showdown. The winner faces number 1 Liberty Christian on Saturday. Thoughts there? How was Darren Kolb after they beat the Mustangs?
He was fine. He was happy. He's not a very emotional person to talk to. Dylan can probably attest to that. He kind of gives it to the bare bones. But he did say,
matter of fact, guy,
yeah,
Nothing wrong with it.
he did say that it's all going to hinge on how well Easton Cobb pitches. If they can give him a lead and Easton pitches well, he feels very confident that they can go on a deep run. And look, Mossy Rock, when it comes to postseason athletics this year, clearly there's something in the water over there. So we'll see, but it will all depend on Easton pitching well, their defense being clean, and early offense will determine if Mossy is either one and done or if they can win a game here or two.
All right. And if you're worried about being one and done or maybe a number 2, Visit Goebel Septic, providing septic service and portable sanitation for Thurston, Lewis, Mason, Cowlitz, and Grays Harbor counties. Goebel Septic provides septic pumping, inspection, and riser installation, commercial septic pumping, grease trap services, porta potty rentals, and sink rentals to go along with them. Visit goebelseptic.com, GOEBEL septic.com, or call 360-736-2167. And now we move to soccer, and we say goodbye to Centralia. Meanwhile, WF West and Tumwater have qualified for state by hanging on in winner-to-state games. Do you guys want to say something nice about Centralia before we talk about the other teams?
Very, very good season by Centralia.
Probably their best season in
years.
Yeah, maybe a decade. I mean, do you have a better understanding of
I do not.
pre-COVID and stuff? No? Okay. Well,
it's been a while since they were a solidly competitive team, though.
Yeah, they were very competitive. We'll touch on their match against Tumwater here in a bit, but yeah, very good season by Noel Vasquez.
He's got them going the right direction.
Yeah,
for sure.
lose a decent amount of seniors. I think 12 or 13 were on the roster, so it'll be a different looking team next year. But Alejandro Olivaro, their stout goalkeeper, he will anchor the 2025 unit. So yeah, it was good to see them be competitive. Yeah, they had, and especially from post spring break on, really turned it up to another gear.
All right, WF West lost to RA Long 4-3 in overtime in the semifinals, then rebounded to beat Hawkinson in a shootout to secure a state bid. Zach saw the semifinal heartbreak, and Dylan saw the PK jubilation. How are we feeling about WF West now?
I'm about in the same boat as I was 2 weeks ago. I mean, they had a 3-1 lead in the last 8 minutes of regulation against RA Long. Gave up 2 goals in the span of, I think, 5 minutes, and then gave up a 30-plus yard kick in the 84th minute in the first 5-minute overtime period to lose. I don't know what has gotten into the defense post spring break, but it has not been as stout as it was pre spring break. So if they want to keep playing, then that aspect of their team has to get much improved back to where it was in the early part of the year.
Which is where it was when they beat Hawkinson. And quick shout out to Gabriel Berger, who is really not the only reason, because obviously there's a lot that goes into a game, and one play doesn't decide the outcome of a game, but some plays matter more than others. And in about the 78th minute, a Hawkinson player beat Josh Madrigal in the box and essentially had 2 steps to the ball to put it in. And he just made one of those, YouTube level sprawling his body, just getting in front of the ball, poking it out. They clear the corner. That's the only reason that game even made it to extra time. And yeah, you kind of mentioned their defense. That was their 10th shutout of the year, I believe, which is a school record, according to Alan Anderson. And I just beat the same drum. It all hinges on that. Yeah. I don't know if they're going to be a team that can win games 4-3, 5-4. But yeah, also cool random little note about that. Anderson, it's the 3rd time they've made state in school history, according to Anderson. He's been the coach 2 years ago and this year, and he was a player on the team in I believe it was 98. He was a sophomore.
That would check out. Very cool. All right, Tumwater got blasted by defending 2A champ Columbia River 8-0 in the semifinals. Then they beat Centralia 3-2 in a winner to state game. Zach was there for the all Evco match. How does Tumwater look?
Well, if they have a multi-goal lead, I would be worried because they can't seem to hold it.
Okay.
They were up 3-0. They end up winning, but it makes the hairs go up a little bit. They were up 3-0 or 2-0 at half against Centralia, scored an early goal in the second half, made it 3-0, and then Centralia completely flipped the switch from that point on. Dominated possession, had 2 goals, one in the box, and then another was PK taken after a foul in the box. And they had several chances in the last 10 minutes to tie the game and couldn't. So Tumwater it's gonna hinge on counterattacks and getting Dylan Stevens open in space. If they do that, then they'll be fine. But at this point, they're going to face stronger defenses, tougher defenses. So it will be much more difficult to get Stevens and their forwards and midfielders moving. The record is obviously deceiving at 9-8-1 now because they load up the non-league with 3A, 4A opponents. So but they've been sketchy against 2A as well, 2A competition as well. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments John Hayes and Tumwater makes before the opening round this week.
All right, taking a look at the bracket. The seating committee does not like the EVCO very much. Columbia River is the number 4 seed out of District 4, but that is, of course, not an EVCO team. They'll play Renton. But as far as our local teams go, Tumwater is the 16 seed, and the tournament starts tomorrow, Tuesday, but first-round games are Tuesday, Wednesday. Tumwater goes to Bellingham on Wednesday to play Seaholm, the number 1 seed. And WF West is the 14 seed, and they will play North Kitsap. Do we have a time and date on that yet? Have you guys heard anything?
Yes, it is tomorrow night at North Kitsap at 7 o'clock.
Okay. Can either of those teams pull the upset and get out of the first round?
Well, if they were, they would beat 2 teams that are a combined 33-2-1 and did not lose a league game. Seaholm tied a league game. So it would be ginormous upsets if that were to happen.
Just looking through Seaholm's schedule real quick, they've allowed more than 1 goal, so 2 or more goals in a game twice, and both of them were before March 20th. Since then, they've only allowed 1 or 0 goals in every game they've played, including a 1-0 loss and a 1-1 tie.
And North Kitsap's only loss is 1-0 to Fife, and actually there was the district semifinal. Then they had to beat Foster to win.
Fife's a 3A?
I don't know.
Not sure.
No, Fife's a 2A.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah. But I'm just looking through their record or through their results. North Kitsap can put the ball behind the back of the net. I'm seeing 7, 6, 9, 10, 11, 7 set consistently at least. Just one game had less than 2 goals. So they know how to put the ball in the back of the net. So this will be WF West defense toughest test to this point.
All right. This podcast is brought to you by Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Elam's is locally owned, family owned, and here to stay with locations in Longview and Centralia. Find everything you need for your living room, bedroom, dining room, entertainment room. You guys got entertainment rooms?
No.
I have an entertainment loft area that
sounds-
also doubles as an office.
That sounds thrilling. All the home action they have. You know what? They have supplies for your office as well, so you can outfit both of them with one, nice gaming chair or whatever you've got.
It's a beanbag.
Jesus Christ!
God,
It's a nice beanbag.
Did you steal that from your little sister or what?
It's one of the big ones. I don't know.
Elam's Home Furnishings and Mattress Gallery. Check them out online at elamshf.com or check out their showroom on Gold Street in Centralia. And now we move to softball. The District 4 tournament gets underway today for the 2Bs, and the 2As starts Tuesday with a pigtail matchup. We'll start in the 2Bs. 3 first-round games have area teams in them. Rainier plays Ilwaco. Onalaska plays Kalama. Those are at Rec Park. And then Napavine goes to Montesano, where they will face Raymond South Bend. Do we think the local teams win all 3 of those? Rainier, Onalaska, and Napavine.
I think 3-0 is a possibility.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think Rainier can beat Ilwaco. Onalaska is playing very well. Lisa Liddell should be able to beat Kalama by herself almost. Napavine against Raymond South.
More hot takes out of Zach.
Well,
today.
I mean, she's a darn good pitcher. Napavine, Raymond South Bend. That one could be closer. It depends on which version of Hannah Faye Napavine gets. If they get the not walk a lot version of Hannah Faye, I think they should fare well. But if Faye struggles with her command and is walking a bit more, then they may struggle. But I like Napavine's offense to at least counterbalance that.
All right. The other first-round game is Tudor Lake and Ocosta, also playing in Montesano. Acosta, I figured they would be better than they are. They're not a top seed.
Oh, P2BL was
Did that come down to coin flips too? I'm not sure.
I have no idea because the league
Could have.
records on the WIA site are
Wonky.
yeah, they're not correct. So I have no clue.
All right, and then in the quarterfinal games on Wednesday, the Awaka Rainier winner plays Forks. These are all at Boris Park in Centralia. Tutelo Costa winner plays Toledo. Napa Vine Raven South Bend winner plays Adna, and Kalama Ani winner plays PL Willapa Valley. Anything really jump out there?
PWV being a top 2 seeds, good to see. And then Toledo, we kind of talked about them earlier, have kind of faded from that hot start, but obviously able to stay in the top 2 as well. Wouldn't shock me to see both those teams go through.
Yeah, wouldn't shock me either.
All right, who's your pick for the district champion?
I'll be boring. I'll say Adna.
Yeah,
I'll go chalk.
Yeah, I'm going to be boring and say Adna.
It's chalk
too.
for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ava Sims is on another level in the circle, and their offense is humming right now. So it would be stunning if Adna didn't win.
This district also has our favorite glue-in game. The team that finishes 5th will have to play the District 1 champion in a winner to state game on the 18th.
I'm taking the D4 team.
Yes.
I lean that way as well.
Yes, as would I.
All right, moving over to the 2As. The bracket isn't finalized yet because Ridgefield and Mark Morris play a tiebreaker game to determine the top 2 seeds from the GSHL. They're doing it.
They're actually playing a game. Nice.
Yeah, I
Wow.
found that out from one of the writers down in Longview that since Mark Morris and Ridgefield won their regular season finales, they tied, so they're going to play a tiebreaker game.
Instead of flipping
Cool.
a coin. I like it.
Then Rochester, WF West, and Tumwater will know their opponents after that game. But first, Rochester plays Hawkinson in a pigtail game Tuesday in Hawkinson. The quarterfinals then start Thursday at Rec Park with WF West playing Columbia River, Tumwater facing off against Woodland. Semifinals are also Thursday. Only one EVGO team made it to Sela. Is that true? Only one EVGO team made it?
Well, I guess from our
Aberdeen.
Aberdeen, yeah,
Aberdeen and
but
Centralia.
our
made it.
area.
Centralia, yeah.
Wow,
So
I
yeah,
can't
2
talk.
EVCO teams made it last year, but Centralia is the only one we care about.
Say
Yes.
our area 10 times fast. Yikes. That was
Yeah.
tough.
All right. Thoughts on who's the favorite in the 2As?
I'd say one of the GSHL teams.
Yeah,
Probably.
Really?
I'd say Ridgefield brings most of its team back from last year. Mark Moore seems to be playing very well right now. I wonder how WF West will do with their top pitcher being Taylor Tobin, a freshman who has been very good this year, but it's postseason, it's a different beast. If she struggles, how will she respond? And then Tumwater, it's basically which Tumwater are you going to get? Are you going to get the one with Ella Ferguson with 15 strikeouts and 2 hits allowed? Or are you going to get, and there's plenty of offense to back her up, or are you going to get the version where she struggles and the offense and defense is not as crisp as it was? Their coach called the season a roller coaster, and they've got to, and Ashley Lipinski said they've got to get off the roller coaster. So we will see if it's a good roller coaster for Tumwater or a bad one for the District 4 tournament.
All right. The 1B District 4 tournament also gets underway today. Moss Rock plays Wishkah Valley in a winner-to-state semifinal.
They'll win.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're
1B. Yeah.
Case closed.
They're gonna win.
This podcast is brought to you by Americool Heating and Air Conditioning. Your comfort is their business. They provide full-service HVAC installation, services, and repair with a 100% satisfaction guarantee on everything they do. You can call their 24/7 emergency service line if you are either too hot or too cold at any time at 360-669-8378 or visit west.americoolonline.com to learn more about their services. And finally, we go to the tennis courts where WF West, Tumwater, and Centralia will have representation at the 2A District 4 tournament, which starts on Tuesday in Vancouver. Zach was there for the league tournament. Zach, how was that?
It was good. I forgot to mention this while we were talking about baseball. On my way back from Ridgefield, I'm pretty sure I killed a baby bunny on I-5.
Why was it? Never mind. Go on.
Fair enough. Yeah, WFS will have 2 singles players, and both of their doubles teams at districts. Tumwater will have both of their singles players and 1 doubles team, and then Centralia will have a doubles team for districts. About the league tournament in general, 3 different matches had to have coaches be line judges. They, which I've never seen that many in one tournament before, so that was very interesting. One of them was between the 2 WF doubles teams for the district title, which I found interesting. It was a good showing. In talking with the coaches, they all said that the South is a lot tougher when it comes to tennis compared to the North. So we'll see how many of them can perform well and get to state in I believe the Seattle area is where 2A state tennis is this year.
Usually in the past they've had it at it was in Yakima a couple times, and then if it's in Seattle, they'll usually do the Nordstrom Tennis Center. But
I think that sounds right, yeah. Because I know the 1A, 1B, and 2B that's all in Yakima for tennis.
All right, and then Zach, you did some track too. There's a lot of track names and a ton of kids moving on to districts and whatnot.
Yeah,
but
that's a
who
lot.
are just like 1 or 2 of the highlights you saw?
Rainier, they qualified 17 of 18 girls events into districts next week. 2Bs are going to be at WF West. 2Bs will be at WF West. 2As will be up in Tumwater for districts next week. 1A is heading to Seton Catholic, and the 1B is heading to I can't remember exactly where they're going to. I think they're going east. I can't remember. Rainier girls were very good. Adna boys, very good. There's going to be a lot of local representation at districts. I haven't dug through the numbers of how many of the 2As qualified of Tumwater, WF West, Centralia, and Rochester. But it'll be top 5 will head to state. The 2Bs and 1A and 1Bs are in Yakima. 2As are up in Tacoma.
Mount Tahoma High School, I think.
That is correct. I think we're going to have we're going to have a very good representation for districts next week. I think we'll even have a better representation, or just as good of a representation for the 2 states track sites the following week.
All right. Any big golf news?
Adna, right?
Adna's sending 3. It's Jaylee Humphrey, I believe, on the girls' side. Braden and Trevin Salmi.
Mm-hmm.
And then Rainier's, forgetting his name.
Okay. A Rainier kid.
Rainier kid actually won districts. I should know this, and I have forgotten for some reason.
Yeah, that's all right. And then when is the 2A district golf tournament? That hasn't happened yet, has it? They just did the league tournament?
I believe the 2A district starts tomorrow, but just the league.
The league happened in the fall, right? The 2A, the
boys.
On the boys' side, yeah.
Yeah.
Joshua Peralta won. It was the district tournament.
Peralta. All right.
So he is also through to state with Braden Salmi, Trevin Salmi, and Jaylee Humphrey on the girls' side.
And then the girls' side districts starts tomorrow in Kelso at
In the
3
2As.
Rivers. Yep, in 3 Rivers. Yep.
Another story with state golf coming up is Von Wasson from Centralia. He'll be somebody to watch at the boys tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Tenino also has a kid going through it's their first golfer.
Oh, nice.
That was like 6 months ago at this point. So
yeah.
I don't remember his name, but
yeah.
Cool.
But we'll have, because the 1B and the 2B is at Tumwater Valley State, and then on the 20th and 21st, I believe.
Yeah.
And then
a few days before we have to head east, so that'll work out nicely.
And then 1A is up at Riverside in Chehalis.
Lovely.
So yeah, get some golf in.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you guys want to add before we get out of here?
I'm going to my first Mariners game tonight.
Eat some grasshoppers.
What?
Yep.
Yeah, you can get. You can get like fried grasshoppers or something.
All I know was to get the garlic fries. That's the only thing I was told.
Get some grasshoppers. All right. Good talk.
All right, so grasshoppers. Okay, and I might get the Mitch Witch if
I have not tried that.
You were just eating a sandwich.
So
You walked in here eating a sandwich.
By the time he gets all the way up to Seattle, that's going to be a long time ago. That's
Exactly.
gonna be a
He's
previous
gonna-
meal
yeah, I need something to hold me over.
down in history.
All right. Thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with some state preview stuff.